Hey guys, what's up? It's Friday, so I want to make another filmmaking video, just a small video about the filmmaking process. The aspect of filmmaking I want to talk about today is screenwriting. It's very important to me as I write everything that I direct, and it's something that I think you need to do all the time if you're going to be a writer director, even in between projects. So, like right now, we're editing OnlyFans and we're scheduling pickup shots and things like that. But in the meanwhile, I do need to keep busy, and the way to do that is to start working on another script. So, right now, I'm starting to work on two at the moment. And I wanted to just talk about that with you and how I kind of approach the writing aspect of it. So for the last few films, I've been starting with the title first. I have a title pop in my head, or think of some sort of a pun, or something a weird turn of phrase, like Murder Size or OnlyFans, and then that will spark my imagination and get me going creatively. Like, what could a movie with that title? What would that be? And I took that approach with the couple of new things that I'm working on as well. Just the title kind of popped up, and I thought it sounded great. And then from there, I start to build out some characters. And the way to build out characters for me, I often try to model them off after people I know, or even if not people in my personal life, just people that I admire, certain actors or, comedians or, things like that. There's something to give you a basis and basically a voice. When you have a voice in your head, and like I said, it's from someone you know or someone you admire, it really helps with the writing, and it helps makes it go a lot quicker, and it can help you define a character and then place that character into that situation, into that story that you're building. So that's just kind of a way that I start off, and then from there I'll go into outlining. I love to outline a story. It really helps if you have a story, for one, and how long it is or how short it is, and where things need to be developed story wise or character wise, and just really get the beats out of the story. I definitely think it helps to write an outline. It may seem, slow or counterproductive for someone who really wants to get started. But for me, that's the way I do it. I'll rewrite and rewrite an outline over and over again until I get it right. Not perfect, but right, where I feel like this feels like a solid story. It has a lot of nice twists and turns, and you can see the character, evolution or the arc. I do use Dan Harmon's story circle to kind of help me see if I do have a character that goes through something, actually goes through a change or goes through an evolution, and then not just some sort of standard stock, character. If you don't know what that is, I can go into that some other time too. It's want to keep this video kind of short, but that definitely helps. You can just look it up. One thing I do want to touch on is not to fall too deep into someone else's program, or some screenwriting professor's program. It can really get you off track and really take you away from your instincts to tell a story. And I think most people that want to tell stories have a natural inclination. They have an instinct in them that they've picked up watching movies and TV shows or hearing other people tell stories. They've picked it up and they're like, I want to do that. And I think sometimes these books, when we're looking for answers on how to write, which is can be very frustrating, and we try to, it's like a square peg in a round hole. We're trying to fit into what this person's idea of writing is. And I know for me, it can be very frustrating, reading, Sid Field's screenplay. I mean, I liked it when I read it, but, my first few scripts trying to adhere to his idea, of screenwriting, where certain things should fall on this page and certain things should fall on that page. Um, I couldn't do it. It's good to have, as like a background, but for me, I guess maybe it's just kind of personality I am. I leaned way too much into it. So hopefully it doesn't happen to you. But yeah, those things are very good to have. But another thing I like to do in that way, instead of reading so many screenwriting books, I like to take a movie that I really love and write out the outline to that movie. Write out the beats, the plot points, and when things happen, when this character came, or when the bad guy came, or when the final battle came, or when the montage came, sidekicks, things like that, and have the time code too. That might seem a little overboard, but to me it helped because it showed me the movie that I really love, just just as a viewer and not really thinking about. To go in later, like an autopsy, and kind of look at the science of what made this movie work. Because ultimately, it's not just a movie's not just a superficial, piece of art. It's not just the lighting and the camera and the actor and the action and the gore and the blood. It's the story. And so if you can go in and look at the story and lay it all out, and you can see what makes it work for you, obviously, what makes it work for you and why you like it so much, maybe. Um, and you can apply that to yourself. And I could try apply that to my own movies. Like when I was, writing OnlyFans, I was looking at Lost Boys, of course. I wrote out an outline to it. I wrote out an outline to Fright Night as well. And yeah, those movies are slower, compared to modern movies now. Um, some people might see that as a bad thing. I don't. I do believe, you want to keep things moving, but um, these are the movies that I loved watching growing up, and they must have done something right, and maybe they wouldn't pass the test with modern audiences or a modern executive going over it. So when I'm writing a script, I do try to immerse myself in the genre that I'm writing. So with OnlyFans, I watch a lot of vampire movies, of course, murder sides, a lot of aerobics, horror movies. Not that there were that many, but there were a few that I was watching. So you want to stay in that zone, and you want to stay in that mind frame, and try not to deviate too much. You really want to stay committed to it, because I do believe, writing, like I said, like the reason why I want to keep writing in between projects, um, it's a slippery slope of not writing, and I know it's very frustrating for people who want to write and they have a writer's block. I talked to a lot of people about that, a lot of friends, and I totally sympathize. It feels like when you stop writing for a long period of time and then you want to start up again, it's almost like you forget, like, how the hell did I do that? Um, and the answer is you just did it. You just wrote every day, but you forgot, that took all that work. But that's mainly what it is. Just have to keep at it. So outline your script, I would say, is definitely a big part of what I do. I think it's very helpful. So once you have your characters and you have your concept, you do your outline, and once you have it right, not perfect, but right, then I would say go into start writing on your final draft or your program, your screenwriting program on your computer. But yeah, so I don't want to go into, too long, this video is already pretty long, but if you want to get into more other aspects of screenwriting, let me know. Maybe I'll do a podcast on it or a Patreon video. Or if you have a project you want to discuss one-on-one, we can do that on Patreon as well. Okay, that's enough for now. We'll get to talk about writing next time. See you later.